let's get into Bitcoin here quickly. We're now on the weekly chart, and what I'm going to do is to focus on this date here of, the high point in December for Bitcoin. And then we're going to come back here to the low point in Bitcoin. Now remember the year that Bitcoin topped out. I think Bitcoin topped out, when was that? About 16, let me just get a high point for Bitcoin here. 17 December, that's right. That is when Bitcoin actually had a high point. So I'm going to focus here on the 17 December high point. Then we came down here to the bottom here on 15 December here, and then we're going to have a look and see where we are now. Now, for the time being, what I want you to think about this little block, and this will help you going forward investing in the next week. That block is similar to what we see here, but on a smaller scale. Okay, so let's dive into it. And now, what is this chart? Let me just see what this one is. Okay, we're going to focus on this chart here. So just bear with me as I get this screen ready. It's a little bit of a lag on my side here. Maybe let me just stop my video. Now, okay, so we're going to focus on this block here of 17 December 2017 actually. Can you see here right at that top is a doji? Okay. So I want you to visually imprint within this blue box now. I want you to visually imprint in your mind what you see here. One of the things that we are going to look at now, let me just get that. Okay, I want you to focus on this here. That sideways channel there. And there's another little mini sideways channel there. And after it's formed the two channels, we have a breakout there with a doji on the top. Then a bit of a sideways action for how many days? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. And then it touches right down there at the bottom. Okay? Now keep that in mind, and I'm going to take you now to where we are now. And please, guys, don't give this information to anybody, because we only hurt our own members if too many people get this data. My computer is so slow, don't know what it is. Okay, I'm going to remove this. Remember this, that the exit sell signal in case Bitcoin drops is 7259. You've got it in the reports. I'm just going to remove that just for purposes here, otherwise the screen is going to be too cluttered. Now I'm going to move this one out here. Now remember this, that's your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 legs, and we are now in the last leg, the 5th wave up into this point here of around about 9434 CC plus. Now, can you remember now what I showed you on 17 December 2017? Let me draw that in. There is your first big parallel channel, more or less. And there is your second mini channel. Okay, and what happens directly at that mini channel? It breaks out, something similar to what you see on your screen here now. Let's just make that dark, and then you can see that. This is why I've been saying that we still have that one spike upwards and then 2 more days upwards into this level here of potentially $9,434. Can it go higher? Yes, it can. It can potentially spike up to the high point here, this high point here of 11,689. There's a low probability that it will spike up there. My personal target, and I've always said that weeks ago, That is that we can get into this 9434. That is my target there. Now, I hope you can see the similarities now between 2017, when Bitcoin hit the high at 17 December 2017. Remember now, 17 December. It's very important that you understand this. Now, I believe that Bitcoin is going to go upwards, and then it's going to drop right down into this level here. Move that up a little bit. See into this figure here of 4416. Let's just fix that quickly. I'm just going to mute everybody. If you need to talk, just unmute yourself. I'll just mute everybody. So I believe that Bitcoin has the potential to come down all the way down here to 4416. Now, let me explain where the 4416 comes from. If you go to college and there's 30 people in the class and you all write an exam, and some people will get 90% for the exam, some people will get 46% for the exam, some people will get 44% for the exam. If you take the average may be 65%. But the bottom line is somebody earned a 44% for the exam. That 44% is the lowest point that we see in the algorithm data. The average point is this level here of 6.7, that blue line there. Okay, so this means that when Bitcoin drops, it could drop as low as 4,416. But I'm going to give you a hint here. The date point there is 31 May to 1 June is the low point according to our cycle. Now the cycle ends. Let me just quickly explain the cycle here for those people who are just new. I see there's many people that signed up there for the webinar, and even if you watch the recording. Remember here, I'm on the left-hand side of the screen here on 17 December 2018. Exactly 1 year for Bitcoin to go from the all-time high to the all-time low in this last 2 years. It took 53 days to go sideways, and then we had that spike there. It doesn't look like a big spike, but it's a significant algorithm spike. And then here on this date here of 2 April, it spiked again 53 days. Now this is the date here where we said that Bitcoin can't go any further. It must break up or it must break down, and we said there's a 50% chance. And we didn't know exactly what this was going to do, but we did say that when it breaks a certain level, get back in the market. And from there onwards, you can see that went parabolic, literally upwards. It doesn't look like it, but it's a big upwards momentum. And some altcoins made crazy gains. Now here on the top here, on the 2nd of April, is where the 53 days started again. That 53-day algorithm cycle, you know, it's called a pattern cycle. That pattern cycle ends here on 25 May 2019. Something is going to happen on the 24th, which is tomorrow American time, where Bitcoin is expected to spike upwards. And then on the 25th, the last day, Bitcoin is either going to spike upwards or it's going to come down. I am going to bet that the cycle will end. It normally ends in 3 sections. I've always been talking about the 3 musketeers, and this is where this comes from. You know, the 3 cycle patterns. They always are everywhere. And then we talk about the evil cardinal that then comes and destroys Bitcoin. And the evil cardinal, as you can remember from all our posts, they always work like the 3 soldiers, the 3 white soldiers. The evil cardinal is always somewhere there. And this evil cardinal is going to drop Bitcoin down for about 5 days into the end year of 31 May, 1 June. So there's no need to figure out where the low is going to be. We believe that the low is going to be on that date. Whatever that date is, that will be the low point. Now, could it be that it only ends up about here, where my mouse is now, where 31 May and 1 June is about there? Then so be it, then that is the low. But don't worry too much about the low point. We've got enough time to go through that. What is more important, and I'm just going to leave this here. Let me just drag this down. So that is more or less where I expect the market to go. And I'm just going to make this not so intrusive on our screen. Let me just change that. Okay, there we go. Now, one of the things is many people want to know what is going to happen in the next day, 2 or 3. We believe that Bitcoin will go up slightly and then it's going to drop. And then what's going to happen is that Litecoin, while Bitcoin drops, is going to move upwards. XRP is going to move upwards. Ethereum is going to move upwards. Bitcoin Cash is going to move upwards. Complete opposite of what Bitcoin is doing. And let me go and explain this with Bitcoin Cash, for example. Okay, with Bitcoin Cash, what I'm expecting here is that Bitcoin Cash is going to break out of this triangle here. This symmetrical triangle is going to break out upwards into this level here of $570 for the next day or 2. So we could see a violent move upwards. It could even go just to 474. But the point is we're going to see a break of this 15 October 2018 line. Remember, if you go back to the left-hand side and you look at the top 40 crypto reports, we talk about the 15 October 2018 line. And then we talk about the 20 July, which is this line here, that top line, 2018 algorithm hit. So those are the two targets, 474, max 827. Somewhere in this region, that is where Bitcoin Cash is going to stop. So we believe now that Bitcoin Cash is going to move up because Bitcoin is going to move up as well in the next day or 2. It's already starting to move upwards now, and you can see that most coins are now going to start building momentum and breaking out here American time, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Now, come Saturday, this weekend, maybe Sunday, Bitcoin is going to drop. It's going to go sideways. It's going to form that doji. We're looking for that doji. Then it's going to drop for 5 days. Now, remember this, in the date that Bitcoin goes up, all coins are going to go up. So imagine now Bitcoin Cash going up. Then we have Bitcoin there, dropping for 5 days into 31 May. And then Bitcoin, remember this, what I showed you here, at this low point here, 31 May, Bitcoin comes back up again. Okay, to a high level there. It drops again yet to the low level, similar to what this low point is, a little bit higher, and then it spikes upwards. And long term, come July, August, and September, it's going to be crazy what's going to happen in Bitcoin. As a matter of fact, remember this, I posted out some info, I don't know if everybody got it, but there are 4 coins that we see in our algorithm data that has got the potential to go up crazy, guys. Those 4 coins, we don't know which one it is. It may even be all 4. But one of these 4 coins are spiking up thousands of %. And it's either going to be Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin or Litecoin or Ethereum. So keep that in mind. In our data, we've just seen it now in the last 2 weeks. And I had to validate the data. And every single time when we look at the data and we combine it, we see that there is a coin that is going to spike up like a humongous amount of percentage in that time frame. We've just got a ballpark time frame and a ballpark figure. Now, don't worry if you don't know which coin it is or what percentage is going to go up, because we will find it before it happens, closer to the time. It may as well just be Litecoin as well, perhaps. But when it happens, it's going to give a big spike upwards and then stand still, and it will give us time to get back into the market. It'll happen over a period of about 14 days. Then we get in and we ride the wave up. But big gains are coming. And if we time this right, and if we are correct with this, guys, some of you will become instant millionaires. I kid you not. And it's not just a sales pitch. Please understand me correct. You know, I don't need to sell our subscription base. You know, it's nice when people sign up and come on board, but this is not a sales pitch. It's going to happen, and I see it in our data. Now, if there's any questions, let's get into the questions here as well. Please unmute yourself, ask questions instead of me just talking, you know. So I hope you understand the question correct. And I know this is a question in a lot of people's mind, that when Bitcoin now moves up, that all coins are going to move up. And then you're going to see that while Bitcoin drops very far, altcoins won't drop very far. And then we're going to spike upwards. Now, what I want to do quickly is to show you what happened here with Litecoin, for example, in 2017. Let's go back and have a look at this. And I'm going to show you I'm going to show you Litecoin and what happened with Ethereum. And remember when I posted on the blog post a few days ago, on Monday, I think, where I said that there are certain strong coins. You need to make sure that you invest in them. And I said the strong coins are Litecoin, EOS, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and then I mentioned 2 other coins, which was XRP and Digibyte. Now, they are not the only 6 strong coins. There are other ones as well. But for the purposes of this, we can just go through this now. ADA is another one, ADA. Now, let's have a look here at when did Litecoin hit the high point here. The high point of Litecoin, there we go, is 19, and let me just put this in here, is 19 December. Okay, so there we go. Now, what was the high point or the high point date for Bitcoin? Bitcoin was 17 December. Remember this? Look at that. So there you go. That is the high point for Bitcoin. And let me zoom in. It's very important that we understand this and know what's going to happen here. So 17 December, what happened is that Bitcoin started dropping. But look what happened with Litecoin. For 2 days, Litecoin went upwards. This is what I say, we are going to see the same happen now, what happened in December of 2017. Bitcoin is going to drop, and then for 2 or 3 days, Litecoin is going to go up. And this is how I see it play out for us hitting our $135 perhaps, and even higher. And let me just get that, let me just take a sip of this coffee and then I'll get into this quickly. Now, if you see where Litecoin is right there at this moment, we believe that it's going to go upwards up till about 25, 26, 27, breaking this $111 mark. I will not be surprised if Litecoin spikes up a little bit higher, closer to this level of 135. And then as Bitcoin drops, could perhaps come down to 111. And then when Bitcoin starts moving up here in between 6 and 12 June, we are going to see Litecoin going up again, potentially hitting the 189 level. So this is how I see it play out. I don't know the exact time frames. Now, it could be that we only hit the 111 level there, and that the drop coincides something like this, and that this then spikes up to 135. This is why I said anything above $111 in Litecoin, I've always been saying that, regard it as a bonus. Now, let's take Ethereum as another example. Okay, let's go back to Ethereum, to the high point here in December, and let me just get that arrow. So November, December, I'm going to look for the 17 December line. It's somewhere there. So let's just go in. I want to show you what happened with Ethereum when Bitcoin started dropping last year or the year before in 2017. So there we go. 17 is that one there. Okay. Now remember this, what happened with Bitcoin? On 17 December, Bitcoin dropped. What happened with Ethereum? Look at that. Ethereum went up for a few days. Okay, it did exactly what it's doing now. It dropped, and look what happened then. Bang, hit that high point there. Now, what is my high point for Ethereum? 473. So based on our algorithm data, this is what we believe Ethereum can hit based on the data. Now have a look at this, if where Ethereum is now, I'm expecting this to happen. And the reason is, we are now just on the verge of breaking through the 300 mathematical algorithm line. Once we break free from that and we above that, it's day over for Ethereum. It's going to go up to high levels that you have not yet seen. There's a chart that I have. Let me just quickly have a look at a chart here. I think it's this one. Yeah. Have a look at this chart here. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you expect Ethereum to dip first quite a bit in the next day or so?
No, it's already dipped. For the next 2 days, Ethereum is now going to move upwards. And I believe it's going to move upwards with Bitcoin for 2 or 3 days. And then over the weekend, it will drop slightly. Bitcoin will then drop further, but Ethereum will stop and then turn around. One of the reasons is what you see on the screen right now. Have a look at this. This is Ethereum. This is just a comparison of Ethereum, Litecoin, and Bitcoin. The value in Bitcoin is way high, okay? And this here is Litecoin. You can see it here on the right-hand side. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum. Look how undervalued Ethereum is. It has to play catch up. Now, at certain points in time, you can see if you look at this now, Ethereum was pretty much way above Bitcoin. Can you see here? Way above Bitcoin there. Way above Bitcoin. And see here, on August, it started dropping, and that's where we are now. Okay, so keep in mind that we believe that it's going to play catch up. So if you look at Ethereum, for example, here now, let's just get back to that question of yours. We believe that Ethereum must have a breakout, probably into this level here of about 288, maybe a little bit higher. It's then, like all other cryptos, is most probably going to do something similar like this. A bit of a drop, and then you're going to see that violent big move upwards. Now that drop could come back, perhaps just maybe touching, it could touch this algorithm line. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, so you don't expect it to drop further than what it dropped last night?
Where did it drop last night? Oh, you mean that drop there?
Yeah.
Of about 231. No. No, it's still look, if you look at what's happening here, let's quickly have a look and just simple now. Just simple technical analysis. Look at this now.
I bet you didn't know my surprise was here.
No, I didn't. I was trying to take him upstairs.
I'll just mute everybody there again. Now look at this now. That is your typical symmetrical triangle with a breakout there. Okay. What happens after a symmetrical triangle, or it's not really a flag pattern? You can argue it's a flag, but what happens next is that, and let's just put that in. You can argue and say that's your A, B, this could be C, right down there at the bottom, and what comes next is a simple breakout. And you can do that A, B, C, D. You can do it 3 or 4 different ways. I'm just here on the day chart, more difficult to do it. But when you log into the 4-hour chart, you can see it more clearly. But I don't play with the 4 hours, I'm just more interested in the trend, and that's why I use the day chart. But what I want to show your attention here is look at this. From this perspective here, you've got that green line here. That green line is your 50 moving average. It's now crossing the 200 algorithm mathematical equation. It's going to cross that. But look what this 22 MAE has done. The mathematical algorithm equation has already gone up, has broken the 200 there. This is a bullish pattern. It's completely, it's nuts when you look at this. You know, when people see this in Apple or Google or Facebook, institutional investors will jump in like crazy. They will buy. This is why I tell you guys, these institutional investors are sitting on the sideline. They are licking their paws and they just can't wait, like a lion, you know, to get onto the prey. And they can't get into it yet because they haven't got an ETF. They can only, not only, but it's better for them to use an ETF to get into, to buy Bitcoin. And you can go and read up about that. But they want an ETF so that they can invest. Not that institutional investors are not yet investing. There's a company here in Australia, I spoke to them yesterday. They are fully into crypto, regardless if there is an ETF or not. They manage a super fund in Australia, and they've got billions and billions of dollars. A small fraction of that is already now entering Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And they are buying Bitcoin, Litecoin, Digibyte, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, those 5. So big things are going to happen. And as soon as this blows open and that ETF gets approved, you're going to see this market rocket. And what I said earlier, remember I said there's going to be, I don't know which coin it's going to be. It's going to go up with something like 1,000% and more. If I tell you the real figure, you will think I am mad. The percentage that it will go up, if it happens in Bitcoin, will take Bitcoin to $400,000 a Bitcoin. And remember, it's just what I see in my data. I don't put my head on a block, but I'm just telling you that Bitcoin is not dead. There's big things happening here. And, you know, interesting enough, what I will do, I'll do a video maybe over this weekend. I went, now Wendy, my wife, is in America. She's coming back tomorrow. And then I have to go and fend for myself and go and buy food. And I never go to shopping malls and buy food or shopping stores. You know, I barely do it. You know, so for the first time, I went to a place in Australia. It's called Woolworths. It's a place where you go and buy food. You walk in, there's like a bakery on the left-hand side. You get your meat section, and then you get all your aisles. I walked in there, and Wendy has always told me how expensive food are. And I said, and she always says, I need more money for food. And I said, yes, Wendy, we can't eat this amount of food. With that amount of money we spend in a month, or in a week rather, we can feed about, you know, how many people in Africa that haven't got food? Thousands. And I went like, this is impossible. Anyway, so I went and walked into Woolworths yesterday. I went through the fruit section first. As you come in, there's fruit and vegetables and pineapples and whatever. And I looked at the pineapple and I went like, $6.50 for a pineapple. I went like, man, this pineapple must be a golden pineapple or some other name or something, or it's organic or whatever. I picked it up and I looked at it and there was just this name on it, D-O-L-E. And I went like, this is a no-name brand. I don't even know this. Dole makes bananas. And here they're selling a pineapple for $6.50. And the pineapple is so small it fits in my hand. I went around and I looked at all the other stuff. Apples. Apples. You know, $6.70 a kilo. I just couldn't believe it. And I said to myself, I'm not buying these expensive apples. It's unbelievable. I'm not eating them. I went and I thought, okay, right, I'm going to get some carrots because I want to do some juicing. I went there, looked at the carrots, $6.99 a kilo. And I thought, gee, I'm at the wrong store here. Maybe this is the store for the elite. And I looked around. No, there's normal people here. You know, like myself. This is not an elite store. And I was literally like starstruck. I went around and then said, okay, right, let's go and have a look. Maybe I'm in the expensive section. I went around, walked to the deli section. Yes, salami, $45 a kilo. Fish, $70 a kilo. I said to myself, I've got the money to spend on this, but I'm not going to do it. I won't spend that money. I went and walked around, had a look at milk. I bought some milk, and the milk was something like, it's organic milk, full cream, and I think I paid $8 for a 1.8 liter milk. I went to the counter, I paid that, and I said to the lady, listen, is this the right store? Is this a store for the public? And she said, yes. I said, but everything is so expensive in here. She said, oh, that's how it is. If you want top quality products, that's what you want. So she was trying to tell me that these are top quality products which you buy in any other store. I suddenly then realized that inflation has crept into Australia, not 1 or 2% like the government is lying to us, 20 and 30 and 40 and 100% inflation. Guys, folks, I tell you now, Bitcoin is going to go to extreme high points. I see this all over the world. Look what happened in Brazil, Venezuela. Look there. Look at what's happening in Italy now. Huge inflation all over the world. Look what's happening in South Africa. I mean, it's crazy stuff. A house in South Africa that is R1 million now. Guys, I tell you now, in a year or two from now, that same house will be R2 million. I've spoken to people in South Africa, which is part of the Robert Kiyosaki group. They are getting their people to start investing in property now for years and years. But now, you can see it now. Houses in South Africa, and people that are on this call will be able to tell me, has already gone up 10 or 12 or 20%. The government, as a matter of fact, has raised interest rates on homes and mortgages to 13 or 14% to slow down the boom in housing market. When governments have got a 10, 12, 13, 14% mortgage rate, bang, it's a sign that there is inflation and they're trying to keep inflation down. What we are hearing in the rest of the world, that there's 1, 2, or 3% inflation, it's the biggest lie perpetuated on the world population. It's not true. And that in itself is going to push Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies sky high. Now, Bitcoin and cryptos will outperform inflation by far. And I've said to many people, some people hold 100,000 in their bank account because they're retired. Some people hold 400,000 and they're retired. That $100,000 is becoming less valuable. In 5 years from now, with that 100,000, you'll be able to buy maybe 50% of that. So you've lost 50% of your money. You either need to be in silver or gold or cryptocurrencies, or spread it. And remember this entire video is not financial advice. I'm just seeing it from my own perspective, as my own opinion. So let's have a look at Ethereum quickly. Ethereum is definitely going to break out upwards. We see it coming down and then heating up. And as I showed you here, what happened with Ethereum is when Bitcoin dropped, and this is the takeaway from this message here today, that while Bitcoin is going to drop, we're going to see the altcoins move upwards. Then it's going to drop slightly, and then it's going to take off again. Okay, so that is what I want you to focus on. Let's quickly have a look at Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash exactly the same. If you look at this, Bitcoin Cash just needs to break through this mathematical algorithm line, the 300. When it breaks through, it's going to go up to this level here. It's going to break the 474 level. Then it's going to come back when Bitcoin drops as well. And then, while Bitcoin struggles on the bottom to find its feet, we're going to have that explosion in price. My target for Bitcoin Cash is $827, and that target still stands. Everything, guys, in the top 40 crypto report, you can use it as a guideline. All that still stands. What I will do is to update the report maybe with a new date and change some information in there, but the targets will be more or less the same. Our dates are still the first target, 15 October 2018, if you go back to the high there, and 20 July 2018 for the high point at that point. So let's open for questions here. If there's any questions, I'll quickly answer that.
Hey, Marius, this is Gary. I had a question or a comment about Bitcoin Cash.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, I've had Bitcoin Cash since the fork in August of 17, so I've watched it quite a bit. I've kind of just looked at it as free money, so I've just kind of kept it there and watched it, paid attention to the charts, and I've seen the technicals, what you're looking at right now, and I could totally agree with you that the technicals look fantastic, but in my experience, Bitcoin Cash still seems to be tethered to Bitcoin. If Bitcoin has a big drop, I haven't ever seen a divergence like the one we're kind of talking about that looks like it could happen here. So I just want to know if, in your opinion, you think something different there's something different about Bitcoin Cash that's going to cause it to diverge from being tethered to Bitcoin.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a good question. Let's quickly go back and have a look at what happened with Bitcoin Cash. If I can get that data, I hope I can. I don't think we go back that far. Yes, we do. Okay. With Bitcoin Cash, you are correct. It's very much in line with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin drops, Bitcoin Cash drops. And this is how it's been forever in the last year. But what I want to bring your attention to this is, now I'm on the daily chart. Let's have a look here. The Bitcoin dropped at this point here. See there? That is your 17 December. And I'm only talking short term. I'm not talking long term. Long term, Bitcoin Cash is definitely linked to Bitcoin. But for the next 3, 4, and 5 days, this is what's going to happen in Bitcoin Cash, and this is what we see. Can you see here at that point there that Bitcoin dropped 17 December? So what happened with Bitcoin? Bitcoin went downhill like that. What happened with Bitcoin Cash? It went straight up for 3 consecutive days. Bang, bang, bang. And it went up to that high point there. Now, while Bitcoin, okay, keep in mind that Bitcoin Cash is going to go upwards a little bit, Bitcoin is going to drop. But then at this point here, what happens with Bitcoin is that Bitcoin starts turning around. The low point for Bitcoin is going to be 31 May to 1 June. That is the cycle low point. Then it's going to move upwards. Bitcoin will go up. But look then, what happens with Bitcoin Cash? Bitcoin Cash then starts dropping. Okay? So we want to ride this wave upwards. So now it's going to form that parallel or tether again. And look at this now. Then we're going to see Bitcoin drop back again here around about probably here by, well, for the most part of June, it's going to go downwards. I can't remember the date I put in there in the previous post of last week. I think I said about 23 June. So it's going to go downhill, but look what happens here with Bitcoin Cash as well. It goes downhill. Now it's fully parked again. So now, at that point, it does exactly the same. And then at that point, Bitcoin does exactly the same again. It goes here and then it breaks up. So
you really just look at that as a short term, just 2 or 3 day divergence. It's from what you're looking at then. Okay.
Now let's have a look and see how much did it actually rise. What is the percentage rise? That is 138%. Now we can't always go on that and say that Bitcoin Cash is going to do the same. Remember, Bitcoin Cash is a beast at this moment. Can you see where our percentage comes in here? I'm saying this is going to rise about 100%. That lines up with the 20 July, more or less. I tell you guys now, it won't be impossible in 3 days for this thing just to spike up vertical. Yeah, so keep that in mind. That's all I'm saying. If you look at this line here, the 52 mathematical algorithm, that line there has now crossed the 200 mathematical algorithm, the equation one, the 200 one, that's crossed upwards. The 22 MAE is moving upwards. That's a good sign. Now remember, these things can catch you off guard. And remember what I said, that Bitcoin can come back and bite you in the butt so quick that you won't know. So we still have to be cautious, very, very cautious. It's a unique thing that is happening here in this week. And most analysts, I think, don't understand this yet fully. But they'll understand it when after it happens. But I'm just telling you what I see in the algorithm data. It's a time to be very cautious, but it's a time that you can make a huge amount of gains. Also remember what I said last week. I said that cryptocurrencies or altcoins have lost 36 to 38% in Bitcoin value. At some point, Bitcoin must give that value back. And this could be where Bitcoin now drops for 5 days. Let's go back to Bitcoin. I'm telling you guys here, this thing is going to go up for 2 days, and then Bitcoin is going to drop for 5 days. In the 5-day drop, altcoins are going to regain the 38%, and that equilibrium is going to be on par again. Sorry, just go ahead. There was somebody asking a question.
Yeah, Marius, it's Richard here. So would we be not looking at so much exiting the market now, but switching into Bitcoin if we see a good spike in alts?
If I understand your question correct, are you saying that we should move out of Bitcoin into altcoins?
No. I'm in altcoins now mainly, but if we see a good spike in like Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin, if we see a good spike, do we then switch to Bitcoin, not go into USDT?
No, I would stay away from Bitcoin. Remember this, Bitcoin is expected to go up to this level here of 9434. When it gets to that level there, close by, I'm selling all my Bitcoin. I'm selling all my Bitcoin, and I'm moving that into cash. Now you can either move it into USDT or through USD or any other stable coin that you can find. But I'm moving mine into cash. Now, when I move it into cash, I move it back into my bank account. I don't leave it on the exchanges, you know. And then I've got the ability to move any large sum of money back into the exchange again. You know, you just need to make sure that your levels are increased. If you can't do it, you can use a company called Caleb and Brown. Go to my website. You'll find there's a link for Caleb and Brown. You can actually sign up there. I don't want their commission. I've actually asked them to give everybody that signs up on that link, give the discount to those people. And they're going to charge you about, I don't know, between 1.5 to 3%. I don't know what it is, you know, but negotiate a price with them. You can either ask them if you've got a big amount of money, like $1 million, and say, right, sell my Bitcoin and keep it safe. And they will keep the money for you safe in an Australian bank account. When you want it again, you instruct them, buy Bitcoin again. The reason I'm going to sell all my Bitcoin here at the top is because I'm expecting that Bitcoin could potentially come down here to 4416. Remember again, this is the lowest point of the exam. It could be this blue line here, which is about 6.7. But but on 31 May, 1 June, that's going to be the low point. When it comes down, you imagine if I sell at 9.4, if we hit that level and I come back and buy at 4.4, I've made 100% gain. Many people don't understand this. And this is how people go crazy and call me a scammer and all sorts of stuff, you know. But this is how in 2018 I made 518% gains. And I'm sorry for the trolls, you know, if they didn't make that money, but I can prove it, and I'm not lying about it. My wife is here with me. She knows. I wouldn't lie about it. You know, I've got a whole bunch of other people that can validate this. We literally sold on the high, and we've got evidence that we produced at the report. We sold there, we bought back on the bottom. And if you take the gains, think about this now, guys. This is what a lot of people just don't understand, and I don't get people, you know. But luckily for us, we do understand it. But for the purposes of the new people, I want to show you this as well. If you sell on the high there and you come back and you buy here on the low, now think about this now. You sold at 20,000 on the top. You come back. We didn't catch that low perfectly, but somewhere around here, I think about 6,000, 7,000, we bought back. But let's say if you sold at 20,000 Bitcoin and you come back and you buy at half the price, you have made 100% gain. Now you ride the wave up. Now you ride the wave upwards again. You make that percentage again. And we called all these high points, we called those double tops. There was a double top, there was a double top, there was a double top. And many of you guys know that year 30, I think it was this one year, 30 March, and that one there. We called those low points very, very accurately, those low points. And that is how we made money. And this is how I got to 518% gains. Okay. If I didn't make 518% gains, I would still be doing my job in the oil and gas industry where I got paid 350,000 a year. I'm retired now. I don't need to work. Yes, Bill, I just heard you there.
Just a quick question, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it appears that the pullback on Bitcoin looks like it's going to be substantially greater than the potential pullback on Ethereum, EOS, Bitcoin Cash, or Litecoin. Is that correct?
Bill, it's correct to a certain extent. but let me show you here. The pullback could be big as well. But for example, Ethereum pulls back. In our data, we see that Ethereum pulls back in one day, like a big red candle downwards, but comes back very quickly. It's kind of like a shock. The market has a shock. You know, so some of the and don't be concerned when you see some of the altcoins just simply drop. It'll drop like a rock, and then it'll come back very quickly. Ethereum, I think, is going to do that. As a matter of fact, let's quickly go back to Ethereum and let's see what it did in December. You can use December as a very, there we go, yes. Bill, here's a very good example. See this big drop here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you could see something like this. Now, this is where Bitcoin dropped, and then it went down, and then for 2-3 days it went up, but then it dropped again. And look at that big drop there, how it comes back and then goes back up again. So you could see something like this in altcoins, guys. Very, very much so. Something very similar to that. Let's have a look and see if Bitcoin Cash did that.
Marius, what do you think about KBC in that context of switching out of Bitcoin or the altcoins and going into KBC that has that July 4th deadline, if you want?
Yeah, absolutely. Just to answer your question again, Bill, have a look here what happened with Bitcoin Cash. See there's another big red candle. It just drops, comes back very quickly. Don't worry about that. What you can try and do is to sell maybe 10, 20 or 30% of your altcoins expecting that drop and then come in the bottom and just buy it back in that same day. You borderline and day trading.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope you understand that. Now,
Yeah, that's what I was looking for, was when we buy, definitely sell on the high, but when do we, because it looks like Bitcoin's going to have a couple of days down where the alts are not, they're going to move a lot quicker.
Exactly, yes. So what I want to say here, there's no blanket approach. We can't give a blanket approach and say Bitcoin is going to go up and the altcoins are going to go up, or Bitcoin is going to go down and all altcoins are going to go up. It's not going to be the case. Certain coins, and remember I've always said this, that be careful owning Theta, be careful owning BNB. They have come to a high point. They're extremely high. You can take a risk with it. It may spike upwards. But it's better to move that into Bitcoin Cash. And weeks ago, I moved my money out from Theta into Bitcoin Cash. And I said I did it. And look what happened. Theta didn't move. And Bitcoin Cash in that time moved about 20%. So you have to be smart about these things and just try and catch the high and catch the low. There's no way that we can prepare a report and tell you exactly that Bitcoin is going to do this and then have 40 coins and say, but Bitcoin Cash will do this, Ethereum will do this, Litecoin is going to do this. We can't do that. I can summarize in general, because what is happening now, and remember this, we said in the beginning of the year, we said it's going to be complicated. There's even a tweet that I said last year that said, come this year, we're going to go up, but it's going to be complicated how Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies work. One of the reasons is that there are institutional investors that are already in the market and they are influencing markets and cryptocurrencies. Now remember this, in December 2017, who started buying? A lot of the institutional investors bought at that point too. If you think that the public are the only people, the moms and dads and moms and pops who lost money, no. Institutional investors lost a heck of a lot of money. Because they tried to short the market, they tried to long the market, they bought the market on the high, and they lost. I know of a guy who's a very well-known, I probably shouldn't talk about this, but I know of a guy who lost about $1 billion. Okay, he's up now a lot more. I think his fund is now back to 400 million. But he invested, guys, I just laugh when I talk about this, but they invested $1 billion and they listened to the media, where the media said at that point, Wall Street, they said buy, and they all got into Bitcoin thinking that Bitcoin is going to go to 50,000, 100,000. $1 billion, and the market went down, and they're just recovering the costs now. So it's crazy. A lot of people lost money there as well. Now, have a look and see what happened on 16, 17, December 2017, I see the same pattern happening here. Now look at this. If you look at this big yellow, I'm here now on Bitcoin. Bitcoin. If you look at this pattern here, can you see the 3-day downtrend there? Have a look at the 3-day downtrend there. We're now going to see this market will move up, and within about 30 to 30 minutes, 40 minutes, we should see another red candle just moving upwards. Now, that yellow and that yellow, let's go back, and I just want to explain that again, just because somebody sent me a text here. Can I just explain this again? Yeah, guys, my apologies. Sometimes if you send messages, I don't get the messages because I'm busy with this, and Wendy's also not here, and I'm just working from home because it's early in the morning here on a Friday morning. Now, have a look at this. You can see that 1, 2, 3 day downtrend there. This is that yellow one. There's that yellow one, 1 to 3 days down. And then after that, you have a spike. Upwards, upwards, doji. Can you see why this block is similar to what is there? So go and do your own research today. Have a look at what happened, that versus your different altcoins. What I can say is that I'm expecting the altcoins to play out exactly like it did in December. Now, we didn't want to come out with this data yet. It's okay to deliver it now, but you'll see that many people will now start using this as well. But it's okay because it's a few days now for the market to break out. Yes.
Hi, it's Amir here. So just a very quick sum up. Basically, once Bitcoin starts going down, alts will go up. Then there's no real point taking money off the table and putting into a bank account, because as soon as the alts come down, we get out of the alts, we might as well put it straight into Bitcoin as it comes up, because as we're coming out of the alts, Bitcoin would have reached its low point, isn't it? Or have I got some of the days mixed up here? Because you've only got a 5-day downtrend on Bitcoin.
Yeah. Now look at this. Bitcoin, I believe, is going to go up for two days, maybe 3 days. Because remember the doji, we're still looking for that doji for the high point. So let's say if we move up 2 days, in those 2 days or 3 days, let's say if we look at Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I believe that everything is going to go up, all altcoins and Bitcoin. But then Bitcoin starts dropping. Expect all altcoins to drop as well, but not as big. It's like Bill said earlier, not as far and not as violent as Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin will drop like this, but some altcoins, the strong altcoins, is only perhaps going to drop in terms of what you see here now, back to this level where we are now. And then the altcoins will start moving up with Bitcoin. So we see something like this. For the person who asked the call there, that question, we see something like this where altcoins will drop not as far, because remember this, guys, they need to gain their, see that thing there should be a, imagine if this is now your 38% that cryptocurrencies has lost in Bitcoin value. Bitcoin has to drop further so that these altcoins can regain their 38%. Now, in real terms, we may drop as low as this, and this may go back up to around about that point, which will give you around about, you can't really calculate like this, but I'm just giving you a visual what it should look like. So in terms of this, the next 2 days, everything is going to move up. Bitcoin is going to drop faster and quicker, but your altcoins won't drop as fast. They will still drop. And I just showed you what happened with Ethereum, where Ethereum had like a big spike down and then came back up again to outperform Bitcoin. So,
Marius, what happens if Bitcoin fails again at the 8,200 mark, which we've seen fail about 3 times now as huge resistance, then goes down? Does that change your scenario, what the altcoins would do?
yes, there is a probability that that Bitcoin could come to about $8,000. You know, just trying to break through the $8,200 level. My data shows that it does break through it. But let's say if it comes to the $8,200 level and it stops there, the high point is still the 25th of May. When we reach that high point, I don't see Bitcoin going higher. So whatever that date is, that is the date where I will sell my Bitcoin. And then just to that question for the other person there, I'm going to move a certain percentage of my Bitcoin, of the cash. I'm going to move it into KBC. Okay. Now, remember this, it could be, and you are definitely correct, that it could come to the $8,200 level and have a bit of a block. Again, I don't see that happening. I see it breaking through, and my personal target is 9434. But anywhere above 8,200, you need to get out of Bitcoin, move it either then into Bitcoin Cash, buy a little bit of KBC. And again, guys, when you buy KBC, just don't buy it from the KBC on their own exchange. It takes too long for the Bitcoin to show up. It's a mess. You know, if you look at, somebody sent me a chart yesterday, and they showed me, go back on KBC and you have a look at the, let me see if I can do it here now. If you go here on the weekly or the monthly, I think, look at this accumulation here. I mean, it's crazy. This is the volume. You know, with ease, this thing is going to skyrocket. The volume on the monthly is just picking up and up and up. And you'll see that this, although it looks very low, is going to start increasing. I expect it could even hit about that level there very shortly in this month. And then the next month candle, which will be June, is going to take it up to enormous heights. And then you're going to see that you can literally double. Now remember this, if you double your KBC and you double it again, guys, take your profit. I know of some of our members, when KBC, they bought at 4 when we recommended it. When it hit 12, they sold. Why would you not sell? They made 150, 200%. So don't be too greedy. You can always come back and buy in. I'm just going to mute everybody. Just unmute yourself if you want to talk there again. So just to that question of that person, yes, I am going to move some money into KBC. I've got a lot invested in KBC, you know, and there are people on this call here. There's one person here that's got 50 Bitcoin invested in KBC. I wish and I hope that you become a multi-millionaire. Now, guys, that is only 10% or less than 10%. I think you said to me 4.7% of his entire portfolio. Okay, so don't go and invest your entire portfolio in KBC. You know, manage yourself, put some risk in place.
When
Let's
would
go
you
back.
sell
Marius.
Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin then if Bitcoin fails at 8,200? Right then?
If Bitcoin fails at 8,200, I'm not going to sell Bitcoin Cash because, you know, remember from now for the next 2 days, it's still going to go up. I'm not going to necessarily sell my Bitcoin Cash and all these coins, you know, all the altcoins. I'm going to wait, and I'll post an update if I do sell. Let's just go back to Bitcoin Cash.
Marius, Frank here. A question when you're ready, please.
Yeah, sure.
Hi, Marius. Just a question for the general audience or the general group regarding KBC. For those of us that invested through, say, HitBTC or one of the others, there is a question mark about HitBTC. I've seen some polite responses on Twitter, but there is still a question mark. So I just urge caution. I'm not sure if there's any exchange that does KBC that is entirely reliable. I'm thinking of, you know, Kraken or those kind of exchanges. So just a word of warning for people that are new, be very careful what exchange you buy HitBTC on, or buy KBC on.
Yeah, and again, you can go to CoinMarketCap in your search box, just type in KBC just for the new people there, go to Carat-BitGold, and this will come up. And then you click right down here at the bottom where it says markets, you go to markets, and that will show you all the exchanges that you can use. You know, we are not going to recommend any exchange. It's really up to you guys. You need to figure it out yourself, where you want to buy and what you're going to do. You know, there's a whole bunch of different exchanges here. HitBTC, Yobit, Bitforex. A lot of people find Bitforex very, very good. And I think overall, somebody said to us last week and the week before that Bitforex is the one to go, but you can buy it here. What I can tell you this is that, think about this now. Carat Gold is a big company, very big. They're big in affiliate marketing. They big with phones that they're bringing out, and they've spent millions of dollars now, right now in China, building phones that will work on the blockchain. They've invested in gold all over the world, even in the Perth Mint. I have seen the document. You know, now what I'm saying to you is this: it's a big company. For this company, if they now, Harold Zeiss said that he's gonna guarantee that on 4 July, in that week, that it's going to be 40 cents, I think. It's going to be backed by gold. Okay, so we expect KBC to hit about 40 cents. Now, you imagine if this doesn't happen, they will lose all credibility. That's why there's so much pressure on them. And I've got the inside scoop that they are going to come out and announce that they are backing Carat Gold fully with gold, physical gold, and they are going to announce the amount of gold that they have. There's a big announcement somewhere happening in South Africa, in Cape Town, somewhere here in June, the end of June, which will lead up to that. They call it the Celebration Conference. They're going to celebrate something. I don't know what it is. They've invited me there, even said they'll pay my full ticket and everything. But I can't be there. I would have loved to be there, but we can just check it on YouTube and see what's happening. What I'm saying to you is that there's a lot of credibility resting on their shoulders. They can lose it. And when a company loses credibility, it will go all the way downhill. And what I see from this company is that they are so far honest, ethical, despite you hear all this bad news on social media. Think about this, guys. Do you hear any good news about the president of the USA? No. Do you hear any good news about any company in the world doing something good? No. People only want to focus on the negativity. This is why 90% of the population in the world are poor. They constantly focus on negativity. Those same trolls that post negative comments and negative videos about KBC and Carat Gold, I bet you they still struggle to make money. And they probably the people that bought at 20,000 Bitcoin and lost all their money. You don't find that successful people post negative comments. I'm not interested in negativity, you know, but what I can tell you this, if I have the sniff in my nose that there's something wrong with KBC or with the Carat Gold company, I will warn you immediately. I'm not going to sit here and just wait. I will warn you immediately. So far, I don't see any major issue. I do see issues with using the exchange. But you have to think about this, guys. Let's have a look at this, this poor company, you know, KBC. We recommended to our subscribers worldwide here in March, and we said, this is the coin to get into. I don't believe that they could handle, and I'm not saying as us and just our members, I think it happened all over the world with a lot of companies. And John McAfee got into it as well and promoted it. Now, he gets paid to promote it. So just be careful what he says. I don't get paid, and I won't accept any money as well. Okay? Now, at this point when we recommended it, look at that volume that came in. The poor exchange, Carat Gold or CaratBit, they didn't know how to handle all the transactions. I guarantee you, I think it's millions and millions of transactions, you know, that went through there. And the next month again, now it's slowed down a little bit. But again, it's going to pick up here. So the exchange, what they've done, they've rebuilt the entire exchange, and new software, new support tickets, and it's taken them weeks and weeks and weeks, and they're nearly there now to handle the capacity. And if you think that candle is big, it's not big. From what I hear, you know, you're going to see candles like this going up in KBC. They are not done with what they want to do. And I tell you truly, I believe that many people will become multi-millionaires in this. Okay, now let's go back. Also, guys, when you buy KBC, the first thing you must do, use a small amount of Bitcoin to buy KBC or Ethereum. You buy it on the exchanges. You maybe transfer $100 worth of Bitcoin. You buy your KBC. You make sure the transaction works. When it works, you buy a little bit more. When it works, you buy a little bit more. So be careful. And don't just trust any exchange. Be careful out there. Guys, are there any questions here? Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Marius, this is Todd. Hey, going back to your Bitcoin's a Wizard Part 4B, you were showing the drop being in a lower drop and then going up to B and then a farther drop down for C farther into June. So now is that completely off the board? It looks like we're going a quick bottom, a move up, and then a double bottom. Is that what you're seeing then?
No, Todd, I think it's still the same.
For Bitcoin?
I think it's still the same. If you go to that video, let me just see if I can get it.
You were just showing us at the beginning today that it looked like it was going to be a double bottom instead.
No, this is over a longer time frame, Todd. It's still exactly the same. No, we haven't changed anything on that. It's still 100% the same. This is just a little bit further. You can see we get into here by the end of June. I think I only show in the video up till here. And this is the problem, this is why I don't want to show people too far ahead, because I think people get confused. I think in the video, we only show about there. And in the video, I actually state and I said that I'm not going to show you what happens after that. And I said that we will get into that at that point in time. So if you, from memory, we have this in the video where we say it's going to come down, and then I only show an arrow where it goes up then. But I don't show that it then starts dropping and going up again. So my apologies if that's confusing. But no, Todd, it's exactly the same. Go back and have a look at that video. That's exactly the same. The market literally drops and then it goes up. Okay. Now keep in mind, we're going to have a top here and then it's going to drop again. And that date there is still exactly the same. I think the date I gave in the video was between 24 June and about, onwards. And then I say it moves sideways. So this may not be 100% accurate, but it's more or less just for visual purposes. We're going to go down, we're going to go up, we're going to go down, and then we're going to shoot upwards. Now, interesting enough, what this whole thing here is, look at this now. Okay, I just want to give you a long-term view. What is that? Can you see there, Todd? There you go.
What is what? Wave 2?
Now Siri is trying to answer. Can you see? Can you see there that's a falling wedge? It's forming a very large falling wedge. Let me try and explain that. I'll put the ABC in. Okay, that is your first leg up. Sorry, it's a little bit messy. There we go down. There we go up, down, and then we have a breakout there. And I always try not to show this too far ahead, but I just want to give you an idea of what's happening. Can you see there? That's what we can expect. But anyway, let's not go that far ahead. Okay, so are there any questions? Let me just clean up the screen a little bit.
If Litecoin only peaks at $93, $94, when would you sell it?
Let me give you this thing with regard to Litecoin. If Litecoin only peaks again at this level here, 93, 94, 95, I'm not really going to sell it. What I may do is to sell 30 or 40%, but I'm not going to sell all the Litecoin. What is going to happen then with Litecoin? And remember this in way back when we first came out and we said that Litecoin is going to go and hit 189. Remember that? Then Boris came on and Boris asked me a question. He said, what is then going to happen with Litecoin? Do you see it dropping? And then I said, no, we don't see it dropping that far. We see a drop. And I'll show you exactly what I told Boris exactly at that time. This is about 2 months ago. Okay. So let me just get this here, and I'm going to just want to make that nice and thick, and I'll do that a different color. Now I'll show you what we said, and you can go back and have a look at that video again if you want to. We said that if it reaches 189, it's going to retrace back, and I think at that point we said about $60 or something like that. Then I drew it up like this, and I said to Boris, is going to do this. It's going to go sideways, and then come here, somewhere here. I may shock you guys now, but Christopher, you know that, and I've spoken to you about it. Somewhere here, and I'm not going to give the date exactly now. Litecoin goes like this. Higher, 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 higher. Like very high. So you can possibly sell 60 or 70% there, or 40%, whatever you want to do. And remember, the reason we only sell a certain percentage is because what I'm showing you now is a probability. It's not a certainty. You know, it's a forecast. It's a prediction. But this is what I see in my algorithm data. So I see it go up and go back. We haven't changed our position on this because the data is still the same. Where it's going to drop back perhaps to 60, maybe $90, somewhere in that region, and then go sideways and then spike upwards. Now, if you don't know exactly where that spike date is, what you want to do is to rather stay with a certain percentage in Litecoin. So that's why I say you have to diversify at least 5, 6, 7 cryptos and not only trade one crypto as well. But for those people who only hold Litecoin, I know there's a few of you on here. There's one guy here, he only trades Litecoin. He's only interested in Litecoin. We've spoken about that on the high point, wherever that is. He's going to sell a certain percentage and ladder it downwards. And on the bottom, he ladders up again. He only trades Litecoin. And this guy has made insane money. And then wait for that spike. But just remember, there is a spike coming. Okay? Now, could Litecoin perhaps be the coin that shoots up thousands of %? I don't know. But it's going to be one of those 4 coins, in my opinion. Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Bitcoin. Now, if Litecoin only goes to, let's say, 111, expect the same. It's going to go there. It's going to drop back. Maybe down to 74. It's going to do the same and then spike again. So your pattern will be the same. But we just don't know where the high point is. Could it be 189? Could it be there? Could it be 111? Regard anything above 111 as a bonus. My personal thinking is that we are going to go past 135. I will be very surprised if we do not hit 135. I won't be surprised if we actually hit 189. I think, Bill, you wanted to ask a question there.
Actually, it was Keith.
Oh, Keith, okay.
I don't know if this is the right time to talk about it, but what about those 3 coins you had talked about before, Walton and the other ones?
Yeah, absolutely. Those coins, remember Walton coin, AGI, which is, I think, Singularity Net. What was the other coin?
Wax.
Wax. Those coins are going to go up 6,000%. This is what we see in the next 24 months. I can't think that it can't do that. And we're in constant contact with them. Those coins, what I said from the beginning of the year, are the coins that we are holding simply because we see a huge increase in price, and we're going to use those coins to pay off credit cards, car loans, because you want to become debt-free. And don't use too much money. A small percentage of your portfolio, you buy those 3 coins, you hold it, and you forget about it. Don't even bother about trading it. Just hold it and accumulate as much as you can. Again, with KBC and all these other coins, don't invest all your money in that. You know, use 2% of your portfolio, maybe 5%, and just keep it in there. Let me just bring up a Singularity Net, and we just have a look and see what's happening. Well, if you want to ask any.
And when do you think is about the latest you'd want to get in for before it starts to do a run, time wise?
Let me. You mean with wax or?
Well, with all three of them. I mean, do we have like 3 months from now or 1 week?
Let me just have a look at this quickly. I'm just bringing up AGI. Okay, AGI is now at that level there.
What would be the third one? It's Walton Wax and what?
Walton Wax and AGI. So what I have on the screen here now is AGI, and let's just have a look. I don't have historical data of too long, but this one here is due to break out very, very quickly. I would say probably AGI, in my opinion, probably another month. I would say June will probably be the downward cycle still. This is now, I would say, accumulation. We can buy this with ease, just roughly. Now, have a look at this, and then let's quickly show you XRP. So this one is approximately there now. If you look at Singularity Net, what's happening? Okay, it's there. Okay, so let's go back and have a look at where did I put that one? Where is that now? So you can see here, probably one more down leg here. If you want to sell, maybe AGI, sell it here at the top if you want to do it. But I wouldn't, you know, I've got 5,000 in AGI. So I'm just going to keep that because that little drop there is not going to bother me. The drop in June where it will go down and then it's going to start breaking out. So you look at about a month or two. Let's have a look at the other one is Wax. See, I barely look at these, you know, I simply buy and hold. Yeah, Wax is doing something similar like all the other coins. Yeah, we can probably expect a bit of more movement here in Wax, a little bit upwards, and then it will probably come down and retrace a little bit down to this level here before then in June goes up again. Yeah, so that was the low point in December where we recommended people buy it here on 15 December, I think was it when we did it. And that now is up about 67%, but it's going to outperform. And we see this going from this low, we see it going up 6,000%. It's going to break this high that it had. So we see Wax going up around about there, you know, 2.5. What was the other one? Singularity, Wax, and Walton Coin. No, that was Walton Coin. And yeah, so those three are the ones that we identified in the beginning of this year. Now let's have a look at this one, which is Walton Coin. Not a bad looking chart. It's okay. And here on the bottom, that was through December. So that in total is up about 155% so far. But this is small fry. This is really small fry. You're going to look at insane gains here with Walton Coin. So those three are the ones you simply buy and you hold. They're kind of like insurance for you. And you know, as I said, in the beginning of the year, we came out and we said that the first thing that people need to do, you must get rid of your credit cards, your debit cards, your little loans you have, a little car loan. Get rid of that, and potentially this, when it spikes, you know, take that money, pay off those loans. And then with the rest of your money, you create wealth. You double that money. We triple that money. We double it again. And it's going to happen where people will make insane money. If you start with 50,000, probably about 2 months ago, if you started with 50,000, it won't be impossible if you follow our trades and you only hit it about 70 or 80% correct, that you can make $7.2 million. And again, not financial advice. I just have to put that disclaimer in. We're not trying yet to entice people to buy Bitcoin. I'm just saying this is what we see. And yeah, so any other questions, guys? I'm very keen to see what happens with Bitcoin in the next 6 minutes, 7 minutes.
All right, how about a look at Digibyte?
Oh yeah, sorry, I haven't even had a look at this. Let's quickly have a look at XRP and then Digibyte. With XRP, okay, let me just clear the screen here. Now, first of all, we need to go back here and have a look here, the fractal here for XRP. XRP is a coin that's going to break out and make people some insane money here. This fractal has been repeated here, and then it's repeated there with a long downward cycle. Now, the first thing that we want to do, if you take patterns, remember this, that patterns repeat itself. And we've always said that if you take this here from 15 December, if you take the bars pattern and you duplicate that play there, and you get that, if you move that over here, the first move is going to be that. Can you guys see how accurate that is now? So you can take that, the 15 December low on most cryptos, and that is your first initial move. Now, what normally happens after a 3-cycle period, remember I've been talking about the 3 white soldiers, the 3 musketeers, the cardinal, and all that kind of stuff. If you want to see then what happens after this 3rd cycle is, if we take this bars pattern and we take the December play, if we move that now over for our 2nd play, and we put that there, just about there, the percentage gain that you can make from XRP just now in the next 20 days, don't hold me to this, is about something similar to what you see on my screen here now. Okay? It won't be impossible for XRP to spike up so quick and make this price here, and I'll put that in there. It's around about $4.
So, Marius, it's Bill. You're saying it's going to break its all-time high of roughly $3.50 within the next 3 weeks, basically.
Yeah, and remember this, I'm not going to put this out as a call, but I'm just showing you what can potentially happen here. If you own XRP, I would recommend just hold it. Don't sell it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no,
but
no,
Bill,
no. I trade it, so I'm not doing anything yet with this.
But Bill, this is something that I'm really seriously looking at. I remember about 4 or 5 days ago, go back to one of the blog posts. I posted there and I said that there's going to be, I think there were 6 strong coins. Those strong coins were XRP, Digibyte, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, EOS, and Litecoin. I think it was those. You can actually go and have a look at the blog and the date stamp when it was put in there. Long before anybody else came out with it, now I see everybody else is coming out with it. Now, the reason I based this, and I didn't want to make this big call because I thought I'll do it on the webinar and show people this is the probability of this coin to spike upwards. I am happy, in my own opinion, if I hit this target here, that first target of 0.5. If I hit that, I'm happy. I'm going to take profits. And if I see that spike where it goes higher and higher, then I just re-enter the market again. But this has got a big, big chance to break out. And let me show you first, again, Bill, why I think it's going to go up this high. Now let's have a look and see on 17 December here, exactly on that point. This is where Bitcoin was. And we really need to pay very close attention to this. Man, that is Bitcoin. Now look what happened there. Bitcoin started dropping. Look what happened with XRP. XRP just simply went up for 1, 2, oh, let's take this. Let's see the date range here. For 17 days, Bill, it went up.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't this crazy? Now, I'm telling you guys, the same pattern that's playing out in Bitcoin is now playing out. In 2017 is now playing out. Now, look at this. 300% gain in 17 days. Crazy money, guys. This is why I say this is the best time to be alive. So people are going to make insane money. If this comes to fruition, and it can happen, it's going to be just remarkable. Now, when I duplicate that same play, I think I actually did it a little bit wrong here. We can't, I took it here from the bottom, we shouldn't. The play should be from 17. My apologies, I just made actually a big mistake there. It's not that, Bill. My apologies, guys. The play should look something like this. If it hits $4, that's fine. But there you go, about 260. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. Hey, there's money to be made in XRP. 260 is great, especially if you bought it when it was 25, 29, 28, 30 cents, 36 cents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And more important also, more important, if you look at this date range, look here, it can happen in 17 days. Bang. 17, 18 days. Don't sell your XRP yet. Let's move to Digibyte. Digibyte is a little bit of a bad looking one. We believe that it could go to 0.07, which is about 418% gain. And where do I get this from? Let's quickly go and have a look here. Now, remember, I came out and I'm saying that it's 0.02, 0.029 in that block there. I do see that uptrend, but I didn't want to post it out publicly. I thought I'll do it on the webinars because it's a probability, but a very strong probability. And I didn't want to make that call yet because Digibyte is a bad looking chart. It just doesn't seem to me that it can go to 0.07, but heck, anything is possible. Let's go back to December. Again, what I've done here, I've drawn in the 17 December Bitcoin high point. Now, look what happened. Bitcoin went down. From there, Bitcoin dropped. But look what happened with Digibyte. It moved upwards. Digibyte is more or less similar to XRP. Let's have a look at the date range. From there to there, again, around about 21 days. And if you look at that percentage gain, anything is possible. And I tell you what, I will not be surprised if this does not play out and give you that 290%. Again, if I take the bars pattern and I take that same pattern here and I put it on Digibyte. Now I've sold all my Digibyte. Remember, I moved it into other ones, but you can't owe everything, you know. So the play is something like this, taking us to about a 400% gain. This is remarkable if you look at Digibyte and XRP. I do own XRP, which I bought 2 days ago. But you know, I haven't got enough money, and I'm not going to put extra money into cryptos. You know, I would like to buy Digibyte, but you know, you have to trade your plan. I've got X amount of money I trade, and that is now exhausted. What I will do, as soon as I see that Digibyte moves up, and depending on Litecoin, if Litecoin perhaps hits 111, 135, I may sell 20%, move it over into other coins that are moving. EOS, for example, is getting to a high point here. Now, if EOS reaches my level of $8 very quickly, then I would sell EOS and move that into other coins. So just remember, Bitcoin Cash, I don't know if we've gone through Bitcoin Cash. I still see my high target here of 827. I can see that happening. Can you guys see now what I mean? What can happen very quickly in about 17 days, where Bitcoin will go down and certain strong altcoins is expected to move upwards. There you go. There's your 15 days at 17 days, more or less. You know, if it hits that target here by 10, 11, 12, 15 June, mid-June, that is possible. This is the play. And I may be wrong, guys, but I tell you what, this is what I see in my data. Don't put my head on a block when things go wrong here. If things go wrong, we simply sell out and we protect our capital. Very easy. We don't cry about spilled milk. And then we stop, we reassess, and we see what's happening again. Ethereum looks really, really good. Yeah, go ahead.
It's Christy. I just wanted to clarify a couple things.
Sure.
So Bitcoin is supposed to hit its peak on the 25th, you know, pretty much exactly, give or take a day or two. But the altcoins, they're going to go about 2 weeks longer to hit those targets that you have on your top 40 list, correct?
Well, yes, that's correct. But let me explain this again here. We see Bitcoin moving upwards for the next 2 days. And here by Saturday, we could have a high point. We are looking for a long-legged doji. Now, in the next 2 days, we are expecting altcoins to move up as well, because the momentum of Bitcoin will take all altcoins upwards for 2 days. Then what happens is, now some of these altcoins are going to go up a lot higher. Then when Bitcoin starts dropping, I believe that all altcoins are going to drop with Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin takes 5 days to come right down here to the bottom to 31 May to 1 June. But in essence, if you look at this blue arrow on my screen here now, if Bitcoin drops very quickly over a period of 5 days, it'll take Bitcoin down this far. But your altcoins are going to drop, but it's not going to drop as big and violent as Bitcoin. So your altcoins drop as well. Now, at this point here, between 31 May and 1 June, we see Bitcoin turning around. And when the altcoins turn around, Bitcoin will go sideways upwards, but the altcoins will go up faster. It's kind of going to do something like this, where it simply shoots up here. And you can see here that Bitcoin moves up slowly, but it's got enough momentum to take it here to about in the middle of June, upwards. In that period, you're going to see that altcoins will do this. It will go up like this. And it will exhaust itself here by the middle of June, which coincides actually with the 17 days. And then it will start dropping. And then we're in equilibrium now there with Bitcoin. Then from there onwards, it's going to follow the same path. Remember, what is happening here in Bitcoin is, the reason this is happening is because what happened with Bitcoin in the last 3 weeks. In the last 3 weeks, Bitcoin went up crazy, but you will notice that your altcoins did not go up. Did you notice that? Or?
Yes, yes.
So now cryptos are playing catch up, and this is why this is happening. There's an equilibrium that I spoke about last week. And that equilibrium must always come back to 0, 0. We're not at 0 yet. We're 38% away from that 0.
Okay.
I hope that is explainable.
I think I got it. I just want to clarify. So Bitcoin is going to hit, for this run up, you know, through June, its maximum is going to happen, give or take, Saturday. But the altcoins, their maximum is that the peak maximum is going to hit toward the middle of June.
Yeah, but look, the high point for Bitcoin is going to be this Saturday. The high point for Litecoins is going to be Saturday. Then over the weekend, Sunday, Monday, Bitcoin is going to start dropping. Sunday, Monday, exactly the same time as Bitcoin, the altcoins are going to drop. But the altcoins won't drop as fast in percentage as Bitcoin. Bitcoin is expected to drop 50% from that high. If we reach that high point there, look at this. It's about 53% more or less that Bitcoin has dropped. But your altcoins,
Marius.
Your altcoins
Marius.
may only drop about 20%. Yes, go ahead.
It's Mark here. I think where a bit of confusion is coming for me is that you mentioned that once Bitcoin reached its high, there would be sort of a couple of days, and this is where you used the example from last year on the 17th to the 19th. You mentioned that for a couple of days that strong coins would sort of move up. However, the narrative now seems to be that say Saturday night when Bitcoin reaches its high and it will start going down again, all altcoins will go down as well, but not as much. So I guess from what I'm a little bit confused. So I think from what I want to do is I want to get as much BTC as possible, and I'm looking for the point to either exit from BTC into a stable coin so I can hold it and then buy back in again at the bottom of the drop. And likewise with any, so for instance, if I have 4 coins at the moment and they are BTC, ETH, Litecoin, and say Bitcoin Cash, so 4 strong coins, is my approach right now to simply just hold on to all of those till say Saturday night when we reach that high, and I'm just using Saturday night loosely, and then as soon as we start to see the downturn, do I then convert all of those over to a stable coin, or are you suggesting that for those 3 strong alternative coins, so not Bitcoin but ETH, Litecoin, and say Bitcoin Cash, that I hold on to those for a few more days?
Okay, yeah, thanks for mentioning that, Mark. What I mentioned when this lady asked the question, I thought I'll give you a general idea of what I see in cryptos. That's general. Remember in the beginning when we started, I said that there's no blanket approach. But just for purposes that people can understand this, I'm going to go through this again. The blanket approach, if we can call it like this, is going to be that Bitcoin for the next 2 days is going to go up till about Saturday, and then Bitcoin is going to drop. Okay, and I'll come to your question shortly. Now, the drop ends 31 May, 1 June. Cryptos are going to do the same, but not all the cryptos. Okay, cryptos are going to start dropping again in general now. They're going to drop, but I see about a 20-25% drop in cryptos, but I see a 50% drop in Bitcoin. Now, not all the coins are going to do this drop. For example, if we go back to Digibyte, I want to mention 2 Digibyte. If you look at Digibyte, it's not going to drop at the same speed at when Bitcoin drops. As a matter of fact, I see Digibyte breaking out while Bitcoin goes up. That's one of the strong coins. Now let's have a look at Ethereum, for example. Ethereum is going to have a little bit of a mini drop. Ethereum is different than Digibyte. At this top, now look at this, it went up while Bitcoin dropped, it went up a little bit, then it dropped, and then it shot up a little bit. So that's a different play than Digibyte. Digibyte went straight up and never had this big drop here. So in this case, look at this one now, I'm going back to historical data now. Bitcoin dropped on that point, but Ethereum, now imagine this is now your high on Saturday, Ethereum pushed higher for 3 days, 1, 2, 3, and then dropped. So we can't put a blanket approach on all the cryptos. But Ethereum is still a strong one. It will still go back up. Now remember this, look at this. Bitcoin drops here into the, let's say probably, if you take this now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's your 5th day there. And then it goes up again. So this is actually the right way actually to have a look at that versus the day. And exactly at that point, look, it goes upwards. Now, can you see why I say that this drop is only about, that is your 20% drop. There we go. It's actually almost 20, although this spike downwards, and that's what you said earlier, it will come back again. And where this other drop of Bitcoin, I wonder if that's going to be 50%. Yeah, well, we don't know because I haven't got the Bitcoin chart, but Bitcoin drops about 50. So can you see here it drops and goes up, but not as big as Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin dropped a lot further. Now let's go back to Bitcoin. Now, sorry for the messy charts here, but where my mouse is now, again, in general terms, the cryptos are going to drop on Saturday or this weekend together with Bitcoin. So it drops and then it goes up, but it doesn't drop as far as Bitcoin. So you can literally go and sell your Bitcoin, come back and buy it here at the low. Now, we really will need to go through every single coin here. With Bitcoin Cash, for example, I see it moving up. While Bitcoin is moving up, I see it dropping, not even a 20% drop, maybe 10, 12%, normally about 12.8%, between 13.8%, a drop, and then it shoots back up again. So that drop, that big drop there, is the big drop for Bitcoin, which is this big drop. So to put a blanket approach on every single crypto is really difficult to do. We can't do it because every single crypto is different. And we just showed you XRP as well. If you look at XRP, completely and utterly different. XRP doesn't even show that it's coming down. And if you look at the historical data, this is also a good one. So this is why I say some coins are just simply stronger coins. Look at this one here. While Bitcoin dropped, XRP went up 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it had this big spike. Look for that big spike downwards. It will happen in one day. In most coins, don't be concerned if that happens. You know, you can maybe try and time it and buy here on the bottom if you've got extra cash and ride the wave up again. But then it goes up. So maybe I'll record this and put it up so that you can go back and refer to this again. But it's very easy. If you want to see what your coin is going to do, use the December 27 play from 17 December upwards. Have a look at that. And that is potentially 90% chance that that specific coin that you look at is going to play out. Let's have a look at something that is completely, let's have a look at ADA. Now, Cardano, I haven't done that yet. And I believe that Cardano is still going to hit that 0.18 level, that point number 5 there, around about year 10, middle June, basically. Cardano has formed this channel here. Now remember this is your mini-me, your little baby channel. It's duplicated what it's done here. Okay, so if I take that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, I can literally go and jam pack that in there, with that being the low point there. So I'm just showing you this now, especially for the new people here, so that you can understand what is happening here. And you can probably argue and say, more or less, you know. So can you see why I say that's a mini-me? What happened here? This one spiked out. So if I go to the bars pattern, and I'm just playing around now, I'm having fun and, you know, just checking where the market is going to go. And minimum, that says to me that that is my minimum play. That it should spike up and potentially complete the high cycle. So now I'm going to go here. I'm going to take the price label, put that in there, 0.13, and I'm going to say my price range from there. Nice. I can make 74% gains. Now, that is your first break, because remember, this is a powerful downtrend with a big push of momentum. So this is the minimum that this mini-me is going to break out. Now, let's go back and see what it did in December. Just clear all that. I'll have to go and redo all that again. I'm just showing you how I'm going to do it, and you can use the same principle. Okay, first of all, I'm looking for 17 December. 17 December is there. Okay. Now, since it's there, I'm going to take the bars pattern, and now you can see here that it went slightly up and this one dipped. Expect Cardano, in my opinion, to do the same as Bitcoin. It's going to dip. And this is why, okay, let's take that now. I'm going to move that over to where and remember, guys, this is not technical analysis. This is woo-woo crazy stuff. But this woo-woo made me millions. And this is not the entire algorithm patterns, you know, but you can use it as a guideline. So when we get here now, remember there, here is that breakout, and where's that channel, parallel channel? Remember there's your mini-me, and there's your other one. Okay, so what we are saying now is that it's going to break out here very, very shortly, right here at that point. Now, let me go back and find the high point here, which I just deleted it earlier. I'm now looking for the 20 July high point. June, July. There we go. It looks like there it is. Now, that is your minimum target. Now, let's have a look and see. And I tell you now, these targets are going to be hit because the patterns repeat itself. That's 140%. What could potentially happen is that it's going to come back and shoot up again potentially. Now, your minimum target, as I had up earlier, if you use that bars pattern for this breakout here, I'm just going to make that a different color. Your minimum breakout target is that second level there. That one there. And that target here is 0.12. Now let's go back and see on the left-hand side, where does that come from? That's a little bit higher than all your other targets. So that could easily be the target. Because remember this, we have broken, Cardano has broken its horizontal line. See this 15 October line, that one there? There's your 15 October. It's broken that twice. So that means Cardano is a strong contender to break this level here, minimum. So that is just in short, quickly, what we here at our office look at when we invest. Now, what I'm doing is this. I'm using the 20 July line as the potential max point. Remember, it can go further. That for me is a buffer point. So the buffer that I have here is that I can potentially make some more percent profit, and I'm looking for that. So that means that from there to that top, I can potentially make another 100%. So that's a great buffer. But now I'm looking at this and I'm going up, I can go up 147%. When I now make about 60%, about 60, 65%, when I make that, see here, round about there, I'm selling and I'm getting out of the market. Because I take my profits. You guys won't believe how many times we get to about 60 or 65 or even 55 in that range, 55 to 65, and I take my profit. Now remember, if I put 100,000 in Cardano and I go up 65%, you bet I've made $65,000. I'm grabbing it off the table and I say to the casino, thank you. And I wait and I look at other coins and I go to my other coins. Then I have a look at Litecoin and I do exactly what you guys see here now. And I'm giving you just a basis now. Now, these patterns won't always work like this, but for now, this is what they work. They work in a mathematical sequence. Going forward, it's going to be different patterns. So for now, for the next week, 2, 3, probably up till about the end of June, this is what you can use. So this is now a live example of how you find, for now, the next play. We can perhaps do another one if you want.
I think that's good, and I think I've got it pretty good. But I did want to ask you about that one coin, whether it's Litecoin, BTC, BCH, or ETH, that's going to go up. Did you say 1,000% or multiple thousands? Will that be in June, or is that like a longer term projection?
We see it happening here between, and I'm very careful giving a date here, but somewhere by the latter part of July, August, September. In that 90-day, 105-day period, what we are seeing is that one of these coins, I don't know which coin it is. It could be something totally different. I'm actually betting for myself, looking at all the data that I've seen so far, that it could potentially be Litecoin. I won't be surprised if it's Bitcoin, but Litecoin or Bitcoin. If it is Bitcoin, it takes Bitcoin to $400,000 a Bitcoin very quickly, like in 30 days. Now, I don't know what is the reason to compel, what's the right English word? I don't know. I don't know what's the right word there to push Bitcoin up, or why it happens actually really. But remember, I'm only giving you the data that I see in my algorithm. Okay, we need to be aware of that. So when that eventually happens and we see a certain coin spike, we're going to have time to get into it. If it is Litecoin, it will go up in one day 100 or 200%. Then we know that is the coin. And bang, we just get into Litecoin and we ride the wave up for that 30 days or whatever that's going to be. And remember, guys, this is it's very difficult to make these kind of calls. I'm only doing it privately here on this webinar. It's not something that I'm going to post out in the public, because the public will scrutinize you. If you make a call like that and you put it on Twitter and it doesn't happen, then for the next 12 months, every single person that's a troll will focus on that every single day. And they'll make videos about your wrong call. So this is not a call. This is just it's private for us to know. And when we have it in the back of our mind starts focusing on that. And we look for that spike.
Murray,
Hey,
so
Murray.
are the coins you're buying, are they BTC or are they US dollar? So for instance, your ETH and Litecoin and BCH, are you buying them as BTC pairings or are you buying them as US dollar pairings?
I only buy in US dollar pairs. And one of the reasons for that is that when I developed our algorithm years ago, when I worked in the oil and gas industry, my algorithm was based on a certain computerized set of rules. As that algorithm, I used it in the oil and gas industry to identify fatalities, near misses, and incidents, which I still use and is fairly accurate. Then I went and started working. I was buying Apple, Microsoft, and all the FANG stocks, and I made a lot of money in FANG stocks. I thought I was smart when I made 15%. Till I got into cryptos. You're not smart if you make 15% anymore. We want to make 100 and 200%. But I had to change my algorithm, and it took a lot of time. It's time consuming because, here I am, one guy on my own, developing, using Python using Python, the software, and C++ in a combination. And I didn't know anything about coding. I literally had to go and learn. Coding is like a language. Now it's easy for me. I can code anything now. I can write script and I can do whatever I want. But it was difficult at that time. So what I did is, because I was trading on the US stock market, it was always in the US pair. There's no other pair. I didn't do it in Great British Pound or anything else. I only use US dollar. So when we started moving over to cryptocurrencies, I tried to convert the script into Bitcoin pairs. And I tell you what, it's impossible. I don't know of anybody in the entire world that can work this algorithm out. And trust me, I've said to a guy that's a very, very well-educated guy who is actually in Bitcoin. He can write the script of any blockchain. This guy's smart. He had a look at that, and I said to him, I'll pay you $200,000 if you can do it. He had a look at that, and he came back to me and said, listen, this is going to take a lot longer than just a 3-month project, and it's going to create a big team to do this, and I can't do this on my own. And that's what he said, and I said, well, I came to the same conclusion. The difference is there's so many variables in the Bitcoin pair compared to every single other cryptocurrency. And the variables cannot be set in a computerized set of rules. You're going to have to import the data for every single coin and check them on a continual basis if they are accurate. So literally, with the manpower we have, it's literally just not possible. And this is why we have tried. I've tried again a few months ago by using a generalized algorithm script to read Bitcoin price and bring it into our algorithm. But I then found out that that's inaccurate as well, and that's why we dumped it. And at one point, we wanted to go and do the Bitcoin pairs in our top 40 crypto report and put a Bitcoin column in versus Bitcoin, but we have to do it manually. So there's so much room for error, and we can do it manually, but you know, it takes a lot of time to do that. That's why we decided we only do it now in US dollar, and it's very easy for anybody now to go to Cardano. You simply go, and just for those people who don't know, you go to tradingview.com. I know a lot of people know this, and you type in this symbol here, see Cardano or Cardano. The symbol is ADA. And what will happen is in TradingView, it's going to bring it up for you. And my computer is just very slow with the internet connection here while we are doing this webinar. And what you are going to see, what it will bring up is ADA versus BTC. And you can see here's USA, Euro. So you can probably use the XBT as well. So let's say, for example, I actually want this one from Bittrex. Let's take this one, ADA BTC. So now I'm going to go to the ADA BTC pair. And there you go. That is your pair now. So you can see it's very, very low compared to your Bitcoin. And there you can see your Satoshi level on the right-hand side. Yeah. So quick view, if you want to see that, just go here and just choose that one which says the price label, and it will put that in there for you, just like that. So that's a quick way of doing it. The other way to do it is then to go here, select your layout. Okay, you can go there, choose this one here. Now you've got two screens. Now what you do, you click on the bottom one, and we're going to convert the bottom one into the US dollar. So we thought of doing that and putting these charts up in the report, so we can do that as well, so people can actually make up their own decisions there. Now I'll pull that over. You can simply just put a line in there just for visual purposes, and then it gives you an idea of where we are at the moment, and you just bring that, align that. So now you can see compared to what is this one here? Oh, that's actually 12 hours. Anyway, so so that is more or less what you can do as well. So this one here is Cardano in Bitcoin, that one there, and this one here is in US dollar. Let me just make all these just one day. I like to work on the one day because that is the that's more your trend, where you can identify your trend. And you can see this one here is basically on a bit of a downhill for me, it doesn't really look good, but Cardano is still, in my opinion, going to break out. Sometimes these charts don't look bullish, but nonetheless, that's how you can do it. So guys, any other questions there? Let's go back to Bitcoin and just have a look there.
Marius, I've got a couple questions. One, you were going to take a look at Bitcoin, see what it closed at. And the other, would there be wisdom in selling out like Litecoin? Some of these alts come May 31 and 1 June, and then buying back in, you know, a couple days later? Or are you going to, would you think the wisdom is greater in just riding that small dip on the alts?
It really depends on your specific coin. There's no set rule that all the altcoins will do exactly the same. But for example, with Litecoin, what I am going to do as soon as Litecoin hits the top, and I hope I got your question correct, Chris, when Litecoin hits about 111, I will sell. I normally sell 10, 20, or 30%, move it into cash. And then I look at other cryptos that I can buy that are moving upwards. Like, for example, we may see Litecoin, and this is now in the back of my head, that Litecoin will hit 111 and that XRP is going to move upwards. In that case, I'll sell 10 or 20%, take that money, move it into XRP, and ride that wave up. I'm always looking for the coins that are moving the fastest. And for example, OMG in the last 2 weeks moved very slowly. So I moved X amount of OMG out into Bitcoin Cash. As a matter of fact, I moved a lot of money from all my coins into Bitcoin Cash. And Bitcoin Cash went up 20%, while OMG went up 10%. So yes, you always need to look at, don't be emotionally attached to one coin like Litecoin or Bitcoin Cash. If Bitcoin Cash doesn't move and it doesn't perform, I'm going to move the money out into coins that do perform, 10, 20, 30%. All I know, and I really don't know how much profit I make, but most of you guys know that I trade with the X amount. I'm not going to mention again the X amount, but I trade with that X amount. And all I know is that that X amount now is up over 400% because I constantly move back and forth. I'm still owning the same cryptos. That's why, guys, you know, you always look at these people that say, oh, they invested in this coin and this coin went up 800%. Well, they never tell you that that same coin the next day may drop 1,000%. So don't go and chase these coins. You know, I never play chase. I always want to be in front. And this is what you must do as well. And Chris, we want to teach and train people to make your own decisions. Because I tell you what, guys, if we can help you identify what to look for, you can make really good informed decisions. It's going to be complicated to make money from now for the next 2 years. And trust me, after 2 years, it's going to be a lot more complicated. It's going to go the same way as the US stock market, the Dow, where big influence will influence the market. You won't be able to make that money. And I'm saying this again, we've got 2 years to make insane money. After that, you should be making a few $1 million. After that, we're just going to play the markets a little bit. You'll still be able to make a lot of money, but it's going to be a little bit more complicated. You need to know what to do. This is why when you see these things, you will now know what to look for. Chris, I'm not sure if that answered your question there.
Yeah, you kind of did, and I understand that the goal is to teach, teach you how to fish here. It would seem that there's wisdom if it's coming down and Litecoin is going to be going up as well as others, that to divest at that and then look, either you rebuy back in whatever those alts are and ride it up versus, sometimes I think, I would think there's wisdom in selling them and grabbing those other coins or even back into Litecoin.
Absolutely, that is a probability. You're borderlining on day trading, which is not a problem. You can do it because the move now will allow us to do a little bit of day trading. But you're definitely correct. You know, we have to move around. It's the same as what I said. When Bitcoin reaches this level here, if it reaches the 9434, I'm going to take a certain percentage of that and just move it into KBC. I'm possibly going to sell out some of those coins. So I'm busy sell it out in cash. The same with Litecoin. Let's have a look at Litecoin. If Litecoin hits the 111 level, remember I said regard anything above that as a bonus, then I'm going to sell out again. Exactly how at this point here, when it was about $107, exactly at 107, I sold a percentage of that. And I went and came back and bought it here on the bottom. So I increased the amount of Litecoin. So you constantly have to look at that, you know, buy and sell and move around, let your money work. And there's no problem if it comes to 111 and you then decide, okay, right, we're going to look at Bitcoin Cash and whoa, Bitcoin Cash is moving and we get into Bitcoin Cash. So that is, you know, just start moving the money around. You can see here that Bitcoin Cash is just now starting to make that green candle. That is what I'm looking for. Now, there are a few coins that you must have a look at. I think the other one is NEC. That also, if you look at NEC, sorry, not NEC, NEO. NEO, sorry, ZEC, that was the other one. ZEC normally pre-runs as well what is going to happen with the market. Now, this one here closed just above that green. I think that is going to turn into a green candle. So ZEC, NEO, and then Bitcoin Cash are kind of like the front runners at the moment. It doesn't always stay the front runners. But what happens here, now look at this very clearly. If we break out above this line here, let's just see if that line is correctly drawn in there. Okay, so it touches there on the top there, and it touches here. For me, that's okay. So if we break the one, if Bitcoin Cash goes to 120, 119, 120, that's a breakout. And then you're going to see the entire market just go up. It's so close, so close. Now, if you look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin has still got that red candle. See that little red candle? What I'm hoping for is that that little red candle is going to break out. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to take you back to 17 December again. Have a look at this green candle where my mouse is now. And then we're going to have a look at that candle there. See where it started? Just a little bit there. Okay, let's go back. As a matter of fact, let's go to this clean screen. Then we can jump around. Okay, this is the day chart. Now, for purposes of this, I'm just going to draw this in again. So it's just, there's your one channel. Okay, remember that. There is your other channel. Now, guess where we are currently? There. See that green candle there? That is where I think we are. Because this entire play, like I said earlier, this is what we're going to look at. Something similar like this. So we are now there. I'm looking for that breakout, and then another breakout and a doji right there at the top. And go
Marius,
back to
you
Bitcoin
said
Cash. Yep, go ahead.
Zcash is one of the front runners. What targets you're looking for Zcash?
Okay, let's have a look here at Zcash. Okay, Zcash, oh, beautiful. It's just been stopped there by the 50 moving average. And you can see it's bouncing off that. And we've got a little bit of resistance here there, the 200 algorithm mathematical equation, that one there. It's tried to break through there, it got stopped there. So it's going to have a bit of resistance just breaking through there. However, let's have a look at this chart here. Okay, let's go back and have a look here at this line.
Yeah, you tweeted the other day Zcash undervalued too, so.
Yeah, and I haven't had a look at this chart completely. Zcash is completely undervalued. If I look at this as well now. Yeah, we look at about an 80% gain here, and I believe that we could hit that target there. 129. It's not going to be impossible to hit that. Let's quickly go and have a look and see what this has done in December. Okay, if we can go, it's a little bit distorted. We can't really go back to December there. Oh, sorry, there it is. What is that? Okay, 17 December is here. Yeah, it's following more or less the same patterns of most of these coins. So 17 December is there. It went up for 1, 2, 3 days, and then it started dropping. It's kind of going to follow the same pattern there. Let's just, we're playing around. Remember, this is not real technical analysis. We're playing around a little bit and we see what can potentially happen if we take this till there. So I'm going to move that over. That was the low point. It'll just be interesting to see if that actually clarifies that percentage gain. It actually shows a lot more. Yeah, no, this looks too distorted really to figure that out. In my opinion, this is just really undervalued. And if you look at those two targets, you know, the 20 July target as well of $200. Now, remember, I do believe that Zcash is undervalued, but for me personally, I would stick with the stronger coins. This, in my opinion, is not that strong of a coin. In saying that, this big drop here, look at this big drop here from 21 November. You have to remember that most altcoins have gone up a lot further and has came back. Zcash has not yet moved upwards. It hasn't gone through that level yet. In my opinion, it won't be impossible. You can throw a few $1,000s behind this and just leave it and see what happens. But it is undervalued, yes.
Okay, thanks.
I forgot I posted that out, and this is definitely totally undervalued.
Hey, Marius?
Oh, Marius, shifting gears a little bit completely. Do you still see the sizable drop in Dow Jones next week? You know, you were looking for that big dip.
Yeah, let's quickly have a look at that. You know, we do see that. Now, it's the first time I'm looking at this chart. Yeah, you can see that it's actually dipped. It may come back up a little bit before dips. We're still looking here at, we may see a green candle tomorrow just going upwards. And then come the 27 or 28, somewhere around here, that Monday or Tuesday. Because remember, the markets are closed.
Monday's a holiday, yeah.
Oh, that is right. That is why I got confused. So that is then 28. I believe
Right.
on the 28th. I should move that 28 there, exactly there. Because we found in our data something sinister, and we said, but we don't see any data for Monday. What is happening? But thanks for letting me know. Yeah, because I found it odd. It was like somebody just stopped everything, and there's zero activity in the Dow, and I went like, this is very odd. So on Monday, we could see that drop, and we could go down to 24,153, and this is where the Democrats, and I don't mean any nasty thing about the Democrats and Republicans. I don't mean if you are for Trump, good on you, or if you are for the Democrats, good on you as well. This is not a political webinar, but this is where you'll see the Democrats are gonna, when they start calling and say, yeah, Trump said the economy is doing well, we've lost $1 billion in the world stock markets, he's doing terrible. You'll hear that rhetoric coming out where people will start saying that. But then, just for the market to come down and start turning up again. It's going to be similar to what you have seen here, something similar like this, where the market came down, it went up, it went down. And then it's going to go up again. And we're going to have lower patterns of this going forward. There is data that shows that we're hitting 40,000, about 38,000 Dow. So the overall sentiment in the market is upwards. But if you are in the Dow now, like for example, Apple, Google, and all those shares, you really want to have a look at that and maybe just stop your orders there, get out. If you, for example, I've got some Apple shares which I'll probably sell at that point, and which was actually given to me. It's not that I bought it. And then maybe buy them back at a low. So we can do that because I am committed. I have to own that. I cannot not own them. But overall, the market is heading
Crude oil
upwards.
going down.
Yeah, yes, crude oil is
Someone just
potentially
texted
also
to
going to
ask.
go down. Go ahead.
Someone just texted to ask about silver.
Yeah, we'll quickly get into silver and gold quickly shortly as well. Let's just quickly, what was my comments on this? The world stock markets, just remember this, is going to go upwards. Now, you probably saw, I don't know if you guys saw what has happened with the Australian exchange. The Australian exchange is almost breaking the all-time high. And normally what happens is, this is while the Dow Jones is dropping. Now, the Australian exchange is normally ahead of the Dow Jones. So that means that the Dow Jones could have a bit of a drop here, but is going to catch up and break the all-time high. And then Donald Trump is going to say again, I told you so, the economy is strong, you know. So it's just politics the whole time, you know. And it's a pity it is like that, because this is not a free market. The Dow Jones is not a free market. Okay, now let's get into gold quickly and silver. Gold, in my opinion, has to break this level here. Okay, first of all, we had a failed breakout. That breakout there is not really a failed breakout, but in terms of technical analysis, we're going to call it a failed breakout. Another word for this, which has happened in gold, is pure thug-like banksters manipulation. That's actually what it is. They should be jailed for what they are doing. If you go and you study every single thing there, and that's what I've done, I went and studied it. Who sold? Where did they sold? Where did the money come from? Where did the money move into? You know, it's manipulation, clear and simple. If you present the evidence that I have to a court and I know who did it, they must be jailed. There's nothing else. The judge will look at it and say, up, pure evidence, 10-year jail, go to life for jail sentence, you know. I mean, these guys are just ruthless and they get away with murder. Instead, and you probably saw JP Morgan, what is that fine they got 2 weeks ago? Some billions of dollars. It's stupid. They make 100 billion and they get a fine of 2, 3, or 5 or 10 billion. They know it and they don't care about it because for them it's still profit. They're more than happy to pay the fine. It's like part of their business now. We'll pay the fines when they catch us, but in the meantime we make billions. Crazy stuff. Now, unless, see here exactly there as of today, unless this breaks out above that line there and it breaks this 52 MA, gold is going to go nowhere. As a matter of fact, my projections for gold is now heading down here to this pink line of about 1,250. Before, now keep in mind, I tell you what, I see some nasty things here in gold. If this does not break through there, what's going to potentially happen is that this is going to come down to this level here and capitulate downwards. And I won't be surprised if we hit this level here of about 1220 before we then spike upwards. Remember this, it is going to go upwards, but I just don't see it right now. So be very careful of that. The 300 moving average basically is too flat as well. And I'm only talking now about here from the beginning of the year till there. So let's go to silver. And the nasty thing in silver as well, I'm looking at potentially maybe a $8 silver. Again, the manipulation dropped it below this line here, exactly the same time with Bitcoin, with gold. So much manipulation in this market is just unbelievable. Now, unless it breaks out here, which I don't see it happening, because look at this, guys, that 50 moving average, let me just put that in. That 50 MA is coming down below the 200 MA. Okay, and I'm not going to get in, for the new people now, we're not going to get into the technical analysis about the 250 moving average. But basically, if you see this red line that turns into that dark green line, let me make that dark green line. I'll just make that just a lot thicker, and then you can see that. See that green line is going to cross with the 200. And that potentially is going to move downwards. And then this line here, the 200 MA, is going to move upwards. That means short-term pressure is on silver. If it's in silver, it's in gold too. Now, I believe that we can potentially go down to this level here of about $8. Initially, we said that we see, I think we were at this top here, and at that top, we said that we're going to head down to $13. It's been a grueling downtrend, but look, as the market went down, like here at these levels, I just bought more silver in this week. I hold it in the Perth Mint. You can also hold some of that physical in your own home. You can hold it at a bank box. So there's different ways of holding it, depending on what you want to do. Now,
do you see $8 this summer?
My analysis is showing that we could go as low as $8. I know it's a far stretch, and people will probably not agree with me, but I'm just telling you what I see in the data. And this is not, I'm using technical analysis here, but my data, my algorithm data shows $8. And again, guys, I'm not saying this
summer
is going to
or...
happen. Oh, yeah, in the next month or two.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then in the summer, what happens is it turns up again. And it just goes up again. See this point here? That point here is the $8 mark here on my screen. It could well be that we are going to retest the 2008 27 October line, because the data is showing flickers of that line, $8.47. Don't be surprised if that
data
happens.
is upwards from July.
That is correct.
The data is upwards from July into end of the year.
Yeah, it could capitulate. Now, for me personally, it looks literally impossible, but you could have a capitulation event where this literally drops so fast that your eyes will water. And here in July, American time, June, July, August, September, you get a massive move upwards. Now, remember again, this is I haven't posted this out publicly. It's only for you guys here because it's not a certainty, but I do see it then shoot up. And ultimately, silver is going to go to a high point. Now, does it only drop till about here $12 or $13? Yeah, that's probable as well. But the point here, the long-term outlook for silver is up, short-term down. And you don't need to be a genius, guys, to look at this as well. Let's just have a look at the 50 and the 200 moving average. I mean, that alone tells you that short term it's down. So you don't want to buy right now. You want to wait till it starts turning up, like what it's doing there. Unless silver breaks upwards here, then it's not going to go anywhere. Now look at gold. The same with gold. If you look at gold, similar move. There's short-term downwards movement on this one. Again, yeah, I didn't even have a look at that actually, but let me just clear the chart. Now look at this. See, there's your 50 moving average. Let me just make that dark again so that anybody can see that. See that downtrend there? It still points downwards. Exactly what silver is doing as well. It points downwards, and then your 200 is there. It's moving upwards. So there could be a little bit more downwards movement on gold. Now remember this oil, I believe that oil is going to have a little bit of an uptrend now for a day 2 or 3. Come here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then it's going to drop with Bitcoin. So keep that in mind as well. Not much, but it will definitely
Hey,
drop.
Marius, regarding your algo on the gold and silver markets, does your stuff show any kind of break where you don't get data in it at any time in the future? I'm asking that because one of the guys I deal and have done some business with is a major guy in the industry for Malka, and he's told me they've stopped reporting the pricing to basically Wall Street for 30 days on what their supply is because they're so sick of the manipulation. And I know eventually one day for all of us, there will be a break between the physical markets and the fake comics and futures market. So I'm curious if your algorithm shows any kind of point where there is a break and you're not getting information.
Yeah, first of all, you need to understand how we get our data. So similar to what Cliff High is doing, and I know that Cliff High has said that his data, his linguistic data, I've never heard the word linguistic data up till I watched one of his videos a year or two ago. Now, our data is similar. We can call it linguistic data as well. I've got crawlers. You can go in the black market, you can buy the YouTube crawlers that they used in the 1980s. You buy for $10, $20. When you've got the script, you can convert that script and create your own crawler. You can set it up on a computer from home, on your own home computer. You can send it out and then say target certain websites like Facebook or Twitter and bring back certain codes, bring back certain keywords. That's what Cliff High apparently is doing, if I understand it correctly. Now, we, without me knowing what he has been doing, did the same. We've got our crawlers, the Yahoo crawlers, which we modified. They go out to Twitter and we tell them, bring me anything gold. Now, and then we can project and see. It's kind of like throwing a stone on the water and the stone makes these ripples. Now we can say, okay, in Twitter now, they're talking about gold 7,420 times per hour. You know, I'm just giving you an example. This Twitter is huge. There are millions of users there all over the world. People are talking about gold like you won't believe. I can even tell you from what country these people are talking about gold in social media. So when they talk about gold, now remember this, the big amount of data, let's say there's 10,000 comments about gold for the day. That's your first ripple. And then we can project and say that in the future, in the next 1 year, 2 years, 3, 4, and 5 years, keep that as the ripple. The ripple gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Now that's a projection because nobody has spoken about gold in 5 years from now because we're not there. Unless you time travel, then you would know, but we're not. So we're projecting that. So it's very difficult to see when it stops, but I can tell you what we see in our data. In our data going forward, and I can't remember the year now, but year around about 2024 onwards, silver spikes enormously, like to levels that you've never, you won't believe it if I tell you the numbers. Gold drops. And it's kind of like the ripples disappear in gold. It's kind of like nobody's interested in gold anymore. It's kind of like, yeah, well, it's like copper. And so that is what we see, not necessarily that they don't report it, because we can't, some of that data we can't see, and it's difficult to analyze that data to be 100% accurate. But I hope you understand what I just explained to you now. That's what we see. We see a lot of activity in silver, but we see barely any activity in gold. Now, could it be I don't want to say that gold is dropping in value. That may be the wrong indication. It could be that gold is hidden from the public, and that only certain governments control gold. And I can tell you now that there are 2 countries in the world that are going to come out and have the most gold in the entire world. America will be left behind. The American gold, I don't believe they've got it from the data that we look at. Those 2 countries are Russia and China. They'll have the most gold in the entire world. So that's what we see.
I mean, I've been, you know, what we're really looking for is true price discovery in a real market, as opposed to the naked shorts and the manipulation. But I'm just curious, like with all the coins like KBC, and there's other coins coming out, putting stuff on the blockchain, that I've been, you know, looking forward to actually supporting true price mechanisms in the market that eventually will overtake, you know, like I said, the comics and futures, which are bogus numbers. So I'm just curious that, you know, if that was showing up in any of your algorithm or anything, if the blockchain was going to be part of that vehicle that gives us the true price discovery and what we're looking for.
Yeah, we can run an analysis on that, you know, the gold, silver and all that. But I tell you what, we've done it. All the data that we get back from, let's say, for example, gold, the amount of gold sales there are per ounce, it's all fabricated lies, guys. You know, you guys know that they sell 100 contracts. Now, remember this, 1 contract needs to be equal to 1 ounce of gold. They don't do it. They sell 100 contracts, and those 100 people that have got 100 contracts, they all have a share in one ounce of gold. It's a complete and utter lie. So if those 100 people now say that, listen, I want my ounce of gold, only 1 person will have the ounce of gold, 99 people won't have the gold back. This is daylight robbery. You and me, let you and me try and do that. You'll be in jail so quick you won't believe it. So this is why we can't take that data serious, and we can't put it into our algorithm data to work at the future price of gold, because it's manufactured lies. And you know, I can't base a forecast on somebody. It's like me selling you a car, but I sell the same car to 100 people. Okay, who's going to drive the car now? I don't know how these people in this day can get away with these lies.
Could it be a deflationary cycle in the summer to be turned about by the Fed in the fall with great inflationary things going on, QE in the fall?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be. I don't know. Always up in the air. All I can tell you guys, you know, I've decided to focus on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. We will still use gold and silver as a guideline, but it's heavy manipulated. I don't trust that. I don't trust the Dow Jones. We are now trying to focus on cryptocurrencies, because my goal here is to help people become multimillionaires, and we are doing it. And the rest of the stuff, I just don't know. I can't really answer that question. I don't know if there's smarter people on this call who can answer some of those questions. Guys, just while we're waiting for those people to come on board, you can see here that Bitcoin is just now there poking its head out there.
Hey, Marius?
Mm-hmm.
It's Roger.
How you doing,
Can you hear me?
Roger? Yeah. So sorry, I missed your call the other day, Roger. I saw it was you. I thought to myself, no, I'm not going to talk to you today.
Take the money. Take the money. Anyway, so I guess I'm just thinking in some of your, you know, Telegram posts there. You're saying we should be cautious. I mean, basically, overall, it's a time to be, you know, prepared to get ready to sell. It's not a time to buy. Correct?
Exactly, Roger. We have to be very careful, guys. Remember, our goal is you buy low, you sell high. We don't want to buy now. And
Yeah,
and
okay,
also it's a, sorry Roger to interrupt you there, but you may, if you have a X amount of money, you may want to put 10 or 20% ladder in your buy. So I forgot to mention that. There are coins that are going to move like Bitcoin Cash and all these other coins, Ethereum, but ladder in your buys and don't spend too much money. I would rather park your cash on the side, wait for coins to drop and then buy. Yeah, carry
Okay,
on,
good.
Roger.
Great. Anyway, I heard too that there was an election in Australia and there was an upset. The incumbent party was kicked out. Is that correct? Any comments on that?
Yeah, they call the guy who won, they call him a Donald Trump as well. But there was so much lies and deceit here in Australia. Again, the same what happened with Donald Trump, you know, when he won the election. This guy who now won, they predicted that he wouldn't win and the media was against him, and you know, and they pump up the other party with such fake nonsense, you know, that this guy was leading with 65% and all sorts of stuff just to come to the polls, and then he lost. Now keep in mind that here in
It was probably
Australia,
the greatest thing to watch on television that night. I was enjoying it so much, watching all the lefties on the media panels. Their faces just get sadder and sadder as the night went along, and the rights won it. I'm not left or right, but I was just amused by the whole situation.
yeah, exactly. And I didn't even go to vote. I'm just going to pay my fine because here in Australia it's your obligation. What's the right word? You're obliged to wait to vote. You must wait, otherwise you get a fine.
You're forced to vote, or they send you fines, and then if you don't pay the fines, they send people with guns. It's fun.
Yeah.
Interesting. You know, here's a thought I used to do when years ago, not so much anymore, but before. I mean, in the 1980s, Brian Mulroney got into power here in Canada, and he had this overwhelming majority, and then he really abused his power. So ever since then, I've always, except for the communists, I've always voted for the party the least likely to win according to the polls, but not so much anymore. If you feel compelled, maybe just do that. And what it does, and actually the last federal election here in my riding here in Winnipeg, it was actually the closest vote in all of Canada. The winner and the loser were only separated. The first number 1 and number 2 were only separated by 50 votes in the entire election. So they don't get too cocky when it's a close election. So it's just a thought of mine for what it's worth. If you have to vote, so just don't vote communist.
Yeah, exactly. But listen, guys, let me quickly stop the call right here. We've been going now for an hour and a bit. I'm going to stop this. We can still carry on. So just for the purposes of this recording, let me just quickly get you. Sorry, Roger, just to hold you up there. And then we can discuss a whole bunch of other stuff.